Hi, welcome back to English 114 Online. There's a lot of material to cover this week, and I don't want you to panic, but chapters 3 and 4 will be covered in a quiz that you'll take on those, and chapters 7 and 12 are the chapters that you'll need to do for your written instructions assignment. So before you panic and say 4 chapters, I've got all that to read, let me try to help you and to point out the most important things that you'll need to cover. So let's take a look at the Moodle page for this week, and so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what we have here is this week, May 29th through June 4th, drafting and revising documents, that's chapter 3 and 4, and page design and graphics instructions, which is chapter 3 and 12, chapter 7 and 12. So here are your resources listed under the wide green bar there. And this week, view my video, which you are doing right now, and then read just these pages from chapters 3, 4, 7, and 12. So you can see the pages that I've listed here. Particularly those checklists are good for you to be able to answer the questions on the quiz on chapter 3 and 4. There are also PowerPoint slides. I have done the same thing here. The PowerPoints are available. If you wish to view the PDF file instead of the PowerPoint, it's right under each of the chapters. There's the key concepts are still listed. The summaries of the chapters are listed. So before you go off reading pages and pages and pages, key in on just the pages that I've indicated for you to read, because the answers to the quiz will be in those pages on chapter 3 and 4, and then chapter 7 and chapter 12 will be devoted to the written instruction assignment that you'll have. Okay, before we get started, I'm going to ask you to get a piece of paper. If you want to just pause the video and go get a piece of paper, it doesn't matter what kind of piece of paper, just a regular piece of paper. I got a piece of pink paper right here that I'm going to use. So I want you to just get a piece of paper and meet me back here when you have it. Okay, so I know you have your piece of paper now, and so what I'm going to ask you to do is to listen to my instructions and follow them very closely. First of all, I want you to fold your paper in half. After you folded your paper in half, fold it in half yet again. Once you fold it in half again, tear off the top right corner of the folded paper. Okay, then fold it in half again, and this time tear off the bottom left corner of your paper. It's kind of tough to tear right now. Okay, so when you finish doing that, open your paper up, and it possibly could look like this. Does it look like my paper? If it doesn't, what happened? Because we all followed the same instructions. You all did exactly what I asked you to do. Why do you think that they didn't all look like that? Because I bet not everybody's looked like that. And the reason is it was one-way instruction. You couldn't ask me which way to hold the paper, which way to fold the paper. Depending on how you held the paper, up and bottom and left and right became just depending on how you were holding the paper, how you were folding it, how you turned it in the maneuvering of the paper. And so written instructions are like that. They're one-way instructions. Someone who follows the instructions does not have the ability to ask you. All they can do is look at read your instructions and follow them. And so you want these instructions to be just as clear as possible. Now, I'll tell you, hint, hint, here's one of the questions that's going to be on that quiz on chapter 3 and 4. You do not always have to have an outline before you draft a document. You do not always have to do that. It could be something very simple and straightforward, and you don't even need an outline. However, if you're going to do something more complex, like written instructions, you probably want an outline, and you definitely want to have your instructions in the right order. It's very helpful if I could have shown you my paper, and if I could have held it up and said, look, fold it like this, hamburger style, like this, then that would have been something that would have been helpful to you so that we could all get the same result. And with written instructions, we all want to get the same result. Okay, so let's go back and look at the Moodle page for a minute and look at what the assignments actually are. Also, in addition to the PowerPoints, the chapters, the information that I ask you to read through, there is this one here under the Chapter 12 PDF document that says make sure images and text are easily read. Let's just take a look at that for a second and see what that looks like when we click on it. This actually has some information to show you how hard it is to read something sometimes. If you have instructions like this one right here, where it says support your firefighters, they're here to help you, they need your help. And if there's, I guess there's nothing else under there, but see how the font here, the color of it and everything makes it so hard to read. Whereas if you scroll down a little bit, then you can see if it has a better contrast, it's easier to read. Also, look at this, for instance. Can you read this? That is so hard to read, especially if somebody has blue-green color blindness, they won't see that at all. Can you read this? Can you read this? Can you read this? Can you read this? I'm like the phone commercial. But there's some of these that are easier to see than others. And so you want to make sure that whatever you choose is something that you can easily read. So contrasting tones are easier to read, and tone or tone on tone can be harder to read. So keep that in mind also as you take a look at some of those things. Okay, I got interrupted in the middle of my recording there, but hopefully I can pick up where I left off. You want to make sure these are your actions are listed in the correct order, and non-action information is separated from the actual steps and listed as a note or result. Now I have included a set of instructions as a sample for you, just so that you can see the format that you need to use as you set these up, and so you can set them up by including a graphic, and also so that you can see how notes would be separate from the actual steps in your recording. Make sure that your instructions include a concluding paragraph with appropriate information, and your instructions employ good page design format, including appropriate headings and use of white space, and make sure your instructions are clear and easy to follow. And if you do that, then I am sure that you will have good instructions. The thing that will be the easiest for you to do is if you just go back to the sample document and look at the format that I've used for that, because that is set up exactly the way a good set of instructions could be set up for you. So let's take a look at that. The sample instructions are right here under the document that has your assignment instructions. And so let's take a look at those and open this up and make this a little bigger so we can see it better. There we go. And so what we have here is The title is creating a document in Google Docs. Now, this was created when I was taking a summer class online through East Carolina University. I don't know how old these are, but they are several years old, and so this is not how to create a document in Google Docs anymore. But I had to create this as an assignment for that class, and so I'm sharing that with you so you can see. We start with an introductory summary here. You can see the introductory summary. That should be a heading. Under that, you will have a simple purpose statement. Follow these instructions to create a document in Google Docs. Follow these instructions to check out at Harris Teeter, whatever your instructions are for. And then you'll need another heading, instructions for creating a document in Google Docs. And under that, you will begin your numbered instructions. Number 1, open Internet Explorer. You can see how long ago this was. Internet Explorer is something I hardly ever use anymore. But you'll see what I was talking about when you have your instructions here in your browser. Type this web address, docs.google.com, and then note underneath that you will open a web page that looks like figure 1 below, and then note how figure 1 below is inserted, and there is, and it is labeled underneath. Figures are always mentioned in the text, so open a web page that looks like figure 1 below, and then figures are labeled underneath with the number, figure 1, and a title, Google Docs sign-in page. So whenever you insert any kind of image into a document, mention it in the text first. And let me scroll back up so you can see that. Here is where you mention it in the text, and then here is where you label it underneath. Now, a figure is anything that is not a table. A table is anything that has information in rows and columns. Rows go across, columns go up and down, and that would be a table. Tables are labeled above with a number and a title, but figures or anything else, like a screenshot here or a picture of a kiosk at a grocery store, whatever it is that you need to insert there, and then you label it underneath just like that. And anytime you have something that you want to alert your reader to that is not part of the actual instruction, here's number 3, type in your Campus Cruiser address. Notice underneath I have a note. This is the address with which you signed up for a Google account. And so, gosh, Campus Cruiser is way old. But anyway, the importance of this document is not so that you could ever follow this and create a Google Doc, but so that you can see how to number your steps. Always start your instruction with a command form of the verb. Type, further down, click, you know. So whatever your command is, start with that. And then as you insert figures into your document, then you will mention them in the text as we have here, and then underneath you'll label it with a number and with a title. And that can seem like it's kind of redundant sometimes, but don't worry about that at all. Now, let's look back at the Moodle page again, and here is where you're going to submit those instructions once you create them. You can create them in a Word file, you can create them as a Google Doc, you can create them however you want to, but when you get ready to submit it, you will click on Written Instructions and Page Design with this little Turn It In icon. This little icon right here is what we call the Turn It In. And that's where you'll turn your assignment in. So you'll click on that, and when you click on that, you will open up a place for you to turn it in. Now, of course, I get to see all the students in the course, but I think it's self-explanatory. If you need to go back and look at how to submit your documents and turn it in, it's under that first toggle on the Moodle page, and they're pretty clear instructions about how to submit something on Turn It In. And also remember, after I grade those, and I'll have to grade those by hand, give me like a week to get those graded and some feedback submitted for you. But once I have graded them, the grades will show up in the grade book, and you can look at that. Here's that first introductory toggle up here. And here is the how to submit documents on a Turnitin and how to view your feedback on Turnitin. So give me a week. Try not to take the full week, but give me as much time as I'm giving you to try to submit those documents, if you will. Your quiz for this week will be graded as you take it, and those grades will automatically show up in the page, the grade book, as soon as they're graded. So that's what we're doing this week. It's a lot to be done, but remember, we're covering 2 weeks worth of material in 1 week. And also remember, I try to give you shortcuts, and maybe you don't need to read all those pages. Maybe you just need to zero in on the checklists in particular, or just look at the highlights from the chapters that are provided on the Moodle page. Anything you need that I can help you with, let me know, and I will be glad to help you, and I hope you have a great week.